What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the two new upcoming packages, part one, the physical infrastructure package that they're voting on this week, and then part two, the next stimulus package, which will be the largest stimulus package yet to date, also called the fourth stimulus package or the American Families Plan or the social infrastructure plan or social infrastructure package. Yeah, we also discuss what's going on with our country and what is going on in Washington, D.C. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here on our channel every single day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, I want to address a couple comments in the last video. Yes, there were some comments in the last video that says, we are expecting a new bundle of joy. That it's like the game of telephone. Remember the game of telephone when you were a kid? You hear somebody say a comment, and then by the time it gets to another person, yeah, that comment is not true. Me and my wife are not expecting another child. Yeah, she's looking at me funny. Yeah, not expecting another child. So yeah, just to clarify that rumor. But yeah, I've seen that couple comments in there, and they had like hundreds of likes and congratulations. And yeah, not expecting another child yet. We have our hands full with just one child. Julian, man, that kid, he doesn't even take naps, and he'll stay up until midnight. Crazy. We're hands full with just one. Maybe I'll see if we can have a special guest appearance show up for the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. Okay, we got a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. Man, it's just absolutely crazy out there. There's a lot going on right now with these two stimulus packages and everything going on. So let's just jump right in. Also, don't forget to hit the like button for us because, yeah, there is a lot going on. Stimulus check update. There may be a fourth stimulus check, and the reason may surprise you. This new Delta variant with cases absolutely skyrocketing. We had almost 250,000 new people test positive over the last 48 hours. The last 2 days combined had about 250,000 people combined test positive in just 48 hours in the United States alone. It is an absolute huge amount of people, and Congress is literally in emergency mode. They just extended the eviction moratorium. The new eviction ban, they just extended that for 60 days, even though the Supreme Court Justice and the Supreme Court said they can't do this. The president is literally overriding the Supreme Court with some emergency kind of stimulus for renters. And they are literally trying to do everything they can, as some people fear a second lockdown may be on the horizon as COVID cases are out of this world. A month ago, we thought that the pandemic might be over, and now people are fearing a second lockdown. We're seeing new mask mandates across the country, and yeah, I mean, literally the president just kind of overrided the Supreme Court Justice. So yeah. Or the Supreme Court, I should say. So number one, this new eviction ban is already being challenged in court, or they're filing a new court. So this new eviction ban on renters is supposed to go for 60 days until October 3rd. It might not make it the whole way based on this lawsuit and how long this lawsuit takes. So just please keep that in mind. This eviction ban is supposed to kind of provide temporary relief for renters. And until this 40-some billion in rent assistance goes out. So remember, of the third stimulus check package, one of the stimulus provisions in there is there's over $40 billion in rent assistance from the third stimulus check package. I will put some links down below in the description for you guys if you want to apply for rent assistance. It's a little bit of a lengthy process, but if you get it, you can get up to 12 months of your rent paid for by the government from the third stimulus check package. Lawmakers are realizing that stimulus checks are a much faster way to get money in the hands of people, and Congress is realizing this because rent assistance just has way too many criteria, and it's much, much harder for people to qualify for. But nonetheless, there is still 40-some billion dollars of rent assistance available. So I'll put some links down below in the description of this video. If you're on a mobile phone, you might need to click the down arrow to open up the description. The down arrow next to the title of this video kind of opens up the description. You'll see some links. So after this video is over, you can go and apply for rent assistance. It might take you some time to go through this. You might need to get on a waiting list, but if you get it, I mean, we've literally had people get 12 months of their rent paid, over $15,000. Some people got over $20,000. Some people got over $10,000 of rent assistance. This is money that's already approved from the third stimulus check package. Like 90% of the money is still available because it's the states that are sending it out. Each state has their own qualifications. Each state is a little bit different, and the states are really being what's the words I'm looking for there? The states are all kind of criticized for not sending this money out faster, and they're actually being told to ease up on the qualifications. So if you're on a waiting list or if you haven't applied yet, you might want to, because you could get 3 months of your rent paid, you could get 6 months of your rent paid, you could get 12 months of your rent paid. And if you've been denied in the past, you might be qualified for, you might get it here going forward. You might want to apply again. Yeah, so I'll put some links for you down below in the description of this video. You can also call the phone number 211, but I have found that they are the least helpful, because if you just call somebody, or if you call the phone number 211 and you get an operator that's not really that knowledgeable, it's kind of like calling customer service for, Microsoft, or anything. Like anytime you call customer service for any type of help center, if you get somebody that doesn't really know what they're talking about, they're not very helpful. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, moving on. The Senate is eyeing a possible weekend finish for the infrastructure bill, the $1.2 trillion Part 1 infrastructure bill. So yes, they are going to be working through the weekend. Last week, they worked on Saturday and Sunday. We don't know when it's going to be finished. Today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. They did work on Saturday and Sunday last week. And when they finish Part 1, the finalized finished vote, then they will also be moving on to Part 2, the next infrastructure, or I'm sorry, the social infrastructure package, which is the next stimulus package, which is $3.5 trillion. That is the next stimulus package that Senator Bernie Sanders is largely in charge of. He is considered the deal maker, or the person in charge of that. It is considered an anti-poverty package. That next stimulus package is a $3.5 trillion stimulus package. It's the largest stimulus package ever, the largest stimulus package yet. And again, the Democrats are the ones that are considering it an anti-poverty plan. You can let me know what you think will be in this anti-poverty plan. Stimulus checks, additional child tax credit checks, those $250 to $300 monthly checks that are going out, those end this year. So if they want to extend those until 2025, they're also saying that there's going to be adult tax credits in this next package. Will there be monthly checks for adults, similar to what children are getting? Child tax credits for children. There's also saying there are going to be adult tax credits in this next package. Will there be monthly checks for adults in this next package? The one thing that's clear is that it's announced at $3.5 trillion. Now remember, the second stimulus check package, that was less than $1 trillion. It was just under $1 trillion. Okay, and they found a way to put stimulus checks in a package that was less than $1 trillion. This package is going to be $3.5 trillion. Okay, so they have plenty of money in there to fit at least a bare minimum of a single stimulus check in there. If they found a way to put a stimulus check in a package, the second stimulus check package, that was less than $1 trillion, this package is $3.5 trillion. They can surely put stimulus checks in there that are 3.5 times the size of the second stimulus check package. That was less than $1 trillion. This package is $3.5 trillion. And remember, Senator Bernie Sanders, who's basically considered like the stimulus check guru, right? The guy who made sure that stimulus checks were in each of the last plans. He's the one in charge of this next package. Now remember, this is part two. This is part two. They're going to start voting on this right after they pass part one. Part one is expected to finalize the votes pretty much this weekend. Within the next 48 hours or so, they're expected to finish and be completely done with, at least in the Senate, voting on this infrastructure package. But there's a few more other things that are going to be right on the horizon as well. Number one, Mitch McConnell says the Republicans will block the debt limit hike if the Democrats pursue the spending plans. By the spending plans, he means part two is the next stimulus package. So remember, the Democrats are going to pass the next stimulus package completely on their own with the reconciliation process, okay? That means they can pass it completely on their own with the reconciliation process, the same way they passed the third stimulus check package, okay? The Democrats passed the third stimulus check package completely on their own without a single Republican. All the Republicans voted no. All the Democrats voted yes. And that's how the third stimulus check package and the third stimulus check came to be, and the child tax credits came to be, and this rental assistance came to be, the unemployment $300 per week came to be, SNAP, WIC, and pandemic assistance came to be. Everything, all that came to be without a single Republican vote came to be. So get this, Republicans are now saying that they will block the debt limit. Remember the debt limit that expired on July 31st, a few days ago here? Mitch McConnell is saying that the Republicans will block the debt limit hike that just expired a few days ago. What a shock. My wife says, what a shock in the background. If the Democrats pursue the spending plans, which is basically the next stimulus package, which they're going to do anyways. So again, Mitch McConnell, if we go back here like a month or so ago, he said that his number one priority was to block anything on President Biden's agenda. Remember, we played that on the show here. You might have remembered that headline. So he's doing anything he can to block the Democratic agenda. Again, age-old war here, Democrats versus Republicans. So he's saying that, remember, the debt limit has to be raised here or else the U.S. government will basically default, okay? So he's saying that the Republicans will block the debt limit hike if the Democrats pursue their next stimulus package. Yeah. Talk about playing hardball. Here's another headline. Mitch McConnell vows that no Republicans will help with the debt limit hike. You might not be able to see this. This might be, maybe I could zoom in here a little bit. If they want all this spending and debt to be their signature legacy, they should leap at the chance to own every bit of it, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says. Now, I do want to point out something very significant here. Both Part 1, the physical infrastructure package, which is Republican and Democrat deal, and Part 2, which is Democrat-only deal, both of these bills are paid for. Okay, it's very different than all the past stimulus packages, 5 underneath former President Donald Trump, and the first package underneath Biden, which was not paid for. All 6 of those packages were not paid for. These next 2 packages are paid for. That is very, very, very different, okay? Very, very different. And remember, I do not choose sides. I consider myself not a Democrat, not a Republican. And if you've been watching my show for a long time, you know that's very, very true. Last year, people thought I was a Republican, basically because I'm just pro-stimulus. I want to help people. Last year, you know, there was a Republican president and a Republican Senate. People thought I was a Republican just because I want to get stimulus passed because I want to help the people. A lot of people think I'm a Democrat nowadays because, again, I just want to get stimulus passed, so I talk about what needs to happen. The Democrats need to pass the stimulus. People tend to think I'm a Democrat now, but I'm not. It's just really that the Democrats need to pass the stimulus now, so people think I'm a Democrat now. People thought I was a Republican last year. I'm really not either. I'm just telling you what needs to happen. The Democrats need to pass the stimulus now because Republicans aren't going to pass it now. Okay, but here's the thing. Both of these packages, what Congress is saying, both of these packages are paid for. Okay. They're going to raise taxes on the wealthy. They're going to raise taxes on corporation. They're using unspent stimulus money that's already been passed, already been approved. They're, forcing pharmaceutical companies to lower prescription drug prices. So it's going to be paid for by the government saving money there. They're using all these different things to pay for these packages. So from what they're saying, there's not going to be any national debt added here. Okay. Both of these packages, even those $3.5 trillion and $1.2 trillion, both of these packages are paid for. That's right. There's not going to be any national deficit or any national debt added here. Believe it or not. Okay. Now, these packages are actually paid for over many, many years. They're not like paid for instantly. But both of these packages are paid for in their entirety, or at least like the majority of it. There might be a little bit when all is said and done that they're maybe paid for by 95% or something like that. The Congressional Budget Office is going to go through and add up everything at the end of the day. Like even there was one year that I believe it was Bill Clinton that said there was one year that the government didn't have a national deficit. Okay. And he said, oh, Bill Clinton, I had one year where we didn't spend more than we took in. Okay. But at the end of the day, the Congressional Budget Office actually came back and said, well, actually, you did spend a little bit more than you took in. But good job. We'll actually give you a medal because you came really close. Okay. So even if they come really, really close, it will still be a congressional win, right? But that's a very, very big point I want to make here. And again, I'm not choosing sides at all because the first package is Republican and Democrat. The second package is only Democrat. But it's a very big change from the 5 packages that former President Trump, who was Republican, passed, and the first package that President Biden passed, who's Democrat only, and this next big package that's Democrat only. So we got packages that were passed only by Republican, 5 packages, and these 2 packages that are going to be passed by Democrat only. So you kind of have packages passed by Republican and Democrat only. Those packages are going to, be passed by each side. Okay, so I'm not really choosing sides here because you have packages passed by each side. These packages are not going to go, these next 2 packages are not going to be added on to the deficit. Everybody's worried about the deficit. I really don't think we should be worried about the deficit right now. We should be worried about the pandemic and a once-in-a-100-year crisis and people right now. I think the people should be the focus right now. But the important thing to note here is that these packages are paid for. I think a lot of people are forgetting that right now. Both of these packages are paid for. That's the big thing. The other thing to really, the next 2 kind of crises here is that one, the Republicans are saying they're not going to vote for this debt ceiling hike, which they have to do. The U.S. Treasury is actually going into extraordinary circumstances. You can see here, U.S. Treasury is auctioning off notes and bonds to keep the government from debt ceiling and from defaulting. They're doing what they can here. They're going to default in like a little bit over 2 months if they don't get a debt ceiling hike, okay? The other thing they have coming up here soon is they also have a government shutdown deal coming up here soon that they're going to have to negotiate between the Republicans and the Democrats as well. So that they're going to have to negotiate on between the Republicans and Democrats as well. So yeah, I do want to say that they're likely, it's a very good situation, from what I understand, the Democrats can raise the debt ceiling in the stimulus package through the reconciliation process. So from what I understand, that is likely probably what the Democrats will end up doing. They'll probably end up raising the debt ceiling on their own through the reconciliation process. Because again, the main rule with the reconciliation process is it has to affect the national budget. Okay, so the national budget, it has to affect the national budget. Well, the national debt ceiling would affect the national budget. I mean, that's pretty clear cut. So I think the Democrats will end up doing that on their own. Now, the government shutdown, they'll have to negotiate that, I'm pretty sure, with the Republicans on their own. Mitch McConnell's kind of laying out his own criteria for that. He wants a military raise for the military budget. They'll probably just give him that. They'll have their own set of negotiations on that. But yeah, it's Congress. There's literally negotiations going on all over the place for Part 1, Part 2. The Democrats aren't going to negotiate for Part 2, the next stimulus package. They're only going to negotiate. Mitch McConnell's got these demands, right, for part two. But the Democrats aren't going to negotiate for part two of the next stimulus package. They're going to pass it on their own. Mitch McConnell's kind of trying to put these demands up. But they did that with the third stimulus check package as well. And they're just going to basically ignore the demands and pass it anyways. They are going to negotiate with the next stimulus package, but it's going to be only with the Democrats. The Democrats are going to have to negotiate with like Democrats Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. So that's where the negotiations will be. And honestly, with COVID cases going crazy right now, almost 250,000 cases in 48 hours over the course of 2 days, they're going to have to really pump in a lot of stimulus, whether it's stimulus checks, child tax credit checks, adult tax credit checks, whatever it's going to be. The good thing is this next package is $3.5 trillion. So there's going to be a lot in this next package, hopefully, for stimulus for us. And the way things going, the way this pandemic is going, there's going to be probably several more stimulus packages after this because this pandemic is not going away.
I ate 2 kiwis today.
You ate 2 kiwis today?
Yes.
Oh, what are you eating right now?
Kiwi.
No, that's not a kiwi. What is that?
Cracker.
What kind of cracker?
Kiwi cracker.
Oh, and what kind of, do you like kiwis?
Yes.
Were you outside playing with Grandma and Grandpa?
Yeah. Tickle.
Why are you so silly?
Because I got energy.
Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah.
Energy.
Why do you have so much energy? You're going to knock me out.
Yes, I can knock you out.
Yeah, we don't want to knock Daddy out.
Knock you out. Okay.
So, yep, you're our only bundle of joy.
I'm joy.
Yeah, say, I'm a bundle of joy.
I'm a bundle of joy.
Yeah. Is it hot out there?
Yes.
Did you go to the playground?
No.
Did you see the big truck on the street?
Yes.
How big was it?
It was really big.
How big?
So big.
Oh. All right, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Say we love you.
We love you.
Say we'll see you in the next video.
We see you in the next video.
Good job, buddy. You can click this video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And you can click this video here to watch how President Biden and the Democrats want to raise Social Security benefits. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.